Have you ever noticed your legs feeling weaker, more tired, or less stable, even though you're eating fruit regularly and doing your best to stay healthy? If so, you're not alone. For years, we've been told that fruit is one of the healthiest things we can eat. And in many ways, that's true. But what most people don't realize is that after 60, our bodies change. And so does the way we process certain foods. Some fruits that once energized us in our youth can now quietly contribute to joint pain, muscle fatigue, and poor circulation. This video will uncover 7 fruits that may be silently weakening your legs, especially if you're eating them every day without knowing their hidden impact. More importantly, I'll also guide you toward better choices. Fruits that reduce inflammation, protect your joints, and help restore the strength and freedom your legs deserve. Let's rethink what healthy really means. Together, let's begin with a fruit many of us trust without a second thought. Watermelon. It's refreshing, hydrating, and often seen as the perfect summer snack. For years, we've been told it's good for the kidneys, easy on digestion, and a safe, natural option for older adults. But beneath its sweet, watery charm lies a surprising truth. Watermelon might be quietly working against your leg health, especially after age 60. Here's why. Watermelon has an extremely high glycemic index. That means the sugars in this fruit enter your bloodstream rapidly, causing a sudden spike in blood glucose. For seniors, whose insulin response is often slower and less efficient, this kind of sugar surge can lead to chronic inflammation. And inflammation doesn't just affect your blood. It directly impacts your muscles, joints, and circulation, especially in the lower body. When sugar floods the bloodstream, tiny blood vessels, particularly those that nourish your legs, can become irritated and inflamed. Over time, this reduces oxygen delivery and slows muscle recovery, making your legs feel heavier, weaker, and more fatigued. You might start to notice it subtly. Your calves feel tired after lunch. Your knees ache when you climb stairs. A short walk feels more like a workout. These aren't random signs of aging. They're your body quietly reacting to what it can no longer process as easily as it once did. And because watermelon tastes so light, it's easy to eat too much. A few slices on a hot afternoon, another bowl after dinner, and suddenly, your legs are struggling to keep up. What's even more concerning is that the body often retains water in response to excess sugar, especially in soft tissues like the ankles, feet, and knees. That means swelling, stiffness, and discomfort, precisely where you need flexibility and support the most. So, while watermelon looks innocent, inside your aging body, it can behave more like liquid candy, sweet on the tongue, but hard on your legs. And if this fruit, made mostly of water, can create such a problem, imagine what happens with fruits that are even sweeter. The next on our list contains more sugar than a can of soda, and it might be sitting in your fruit bowl right now. Let's talk about mangoes. Mangoes are often celebrated as nature's tropical gift. Vibrant, juicy, sweet, and full of nostalgia. For many of us, they bring back memories of carefree summers, family gatherings, and simple joys. They've earned a reputation for being good for your eyes, thanks to their vitamin A content, and their rich color and smooth texture make them feel like a luxurious yet healthy treat. But here's what most people over 60 don't realize. Behind that golden glow lies one of the most sugar-dense fruits in your kitchen. A single medium mango can pack over 40 grams of sugar. That's more than a can of soda. While natural, this sugar doesn't get a free pass. As we age, our metabolism slows and our ability to process large sugar loads weakens. What once energized us in our younger years now lingers longer in the bloodstream, triggering inflammation that targets our weakest points, often our legs, feet, and joints. You might not notice it right away, but the signs build. A strange tingling in your toes at night, swelling in your ankles after dinner, or a dull ache in your calves after a short walk. For seniors, these symptoms are not just inconveniences, they are warning signs. Excess sugar contributes to oxidative stress, worsens circulation, and increases insulin resistance. All of this can lead to slower muscle recovery, joint stiffness, and even nerve irritation, especially in the lower limbs. And because mangoes feel so light, we often don't realize how much sugar we're consuming in just a few slices. Here's the hard truth. While mangoes may feel like a healthy indulgence, for an aging body, they can quietly sabotage your strength and mobility. You're not just satisfying a sweet craving. You may be feeding the very inflammation that's making it harder to walk, stand, or rest comfortably. It's not about giving up pleasure. It's about understanding your body's new limits and making wiser choices for your future strength. And if a fruit as beloved as mango can become a hidden enemy, what about those fruits we've been told are essential for muscle health? Up next is one that's praised for potassium, but could actually be silently working against your legs. Bananas have long held a sacred place in the world of healthy foods, especially for those seeking muscle support. They're soft, easy to digest, and packed with potassium, a mineral essential for muscle contraction and nerve function. It's no wonder so many seniors reach for a banana as a daily snack, believing it to be a gentle source of energy. But what if that trusted yellow fruit isn't quite the friend you thought it was? At least not after 60? Here's the surprising truth. While bananas do contain beneficial nutrients, they're also high in natural sugars and fast-digesting carbohydrates, especially when fully ripe. These sugars convert quickly into glucose, causing a rapid spike in blood sugar and insulin. For older adults with slower metabolic responses and reduced insulin sensitivity, this sudden surge can create a chain reaction that ultimately weakens the legs rather than strengthening them. When insulin rises sharply, it can lead to increased water retention, especially in the lower extremities. This means swelling in the ankles, heaviness in the calves, and that sluggish, weighed-down feeling when trying to move. You might notice your legs feel tight after eating, or that climbing stairs feels unusually tiring. These aren't just signs of aging. They may be your body's way of telling you it's struggling to handle the sugar load from something as innocent as a banana. What's more, regular spikes in insulin over time contribute to poor circulation. And when your legs don't get enough oxygen or nutrients, muscles fatigue faster and recover more slowly. Add in water retention, and the result is legs that feel stiff, slow, and drained of strength, even when you think you're fueling them. Bananas aren't inherently bad, but for seniors, they may offer a quick burst of energy followed by a subtle crash, and that crash can quietly chip away at your mobility. When you were younger, your body could bounce back from these swings. Now, every choice matters more. A banana a day might not keep the doctor away. It might just be making your legs work harder than they need to. And if even a muscle-friendly fruit like the banana comes with hidden risks, what happens when we turn to fruits that are more acidic? Let's take a closer look at oranges. For decades, oranges have been a symbol of wellness. Starting your day with a glass of orange juice or enjoying a fresh orange in the morning feels like the responsible, health-conscious thing to do, especially as we get older. They're packed with vitamin C, they support the immune system, and their bright color seems to promise vitality. But if you're over 60, it may be time to take a closer look. That cheerful orange might be doing more harm than good, particularly to your joints. Here's why. Oranges are high in citric acid and natural sugars. a combination that's less friendly to aging joints than you might think. Citric acid, in excess, can irritate joint linings and aggravate existing inflammation. This is especially true for people dealing with arthritis, bursitis, or general joint sensitivity, conditions that become more common with age. When consumed frequently, the acid acts almost like sandpaper, wearing down already delicate cartilage. And then there's the sugar. While it's natural, your body doesn't distinguish much between natural and added when your insulin response is already slowing down. Repeated sugar spikes can fuel systemic inflammation, exactly what your joints don't need. That means stiffness in the knees when you wake up, soreness in your hips after sitting, or pain when standing up after a meal. You may think it's just another morning ache, but it could be your body responding to yesterday's orange juice. The problem is that the effects build gradually. One glass of juice here, a fresh orange there, and suddenly you're noticing daily discomfort in your legs and joints that wasn't there before. And because oranges feel refreshing and clean, we rarely question them. But for a senior body, one that's slower to heal and quicker to inflame, this combination of sugar and acid can become a quiet threat. So the next time you peel an orange or reach for that morning juice, ask yourself, is this fruit still helping me move forward, or is it subtly holding me back? And if a fruit as classic and beloved as the orange can stir up so much discomfort, imagine what happens when we eat something even more tart and pure. Let's talk about green apples next. Green apples carry an image of simplicity and purity. They're crisp, clean, and often chosen by health-conscious eaters as a smarter, less sugary fruit. For seniors, the logic seems sound. They're lower in sugar than many tropical fruits. They're easy to pack into meals or snacks, and they feel refreshing without the guilt. But behind that tart crunch lies a surprising ingredient that could be quietly aggravating your muscles and joints, especially if you're over 60. That ingredient is malic acid. Naturally found in green apples, malic acid is what gives them their signature tang. In small amounts, it's harmless. But when consumed frequently, especially on an empty stomach or as a midday snack, it can irritate sensitive tissues in aging bodies. For those already experiencing joint stiffness or muscle tenderness, malic acid can act like an internal irritant, quietly fueling inflammation that settles in the hips, thighs, or even down into the calves. You may not notice it at first, but over time, small signals begin to emerge. An ache in your hip after a walk, a strange tightness in your legs, or nighttime cramps that wake you up and won't let go. These discomforts are often brushed off as just getting older, but your diet could be playing a bigger role than you think, especially if a green apple is your go-to healthy snack. To be clear, green apples aren't toxic, but for an aging digestive system and musculoskeletal structure, their combination of acidity and natural sugar can create subtle, ongoing tension in your body. And unlike soft, anti-inflammatory fruits like berries or papaya, green apples don't soothe, they stimulate. That stimulation over time might be part of why you're waking up stiff or ending the day with sore legs. So ask yourself this: does the satisfying crunch of a green apple outweigh the discomfort that follows? If you've been eating them daily without a second thought, it may be time to listen more closely to what your body is trying to tell you. And if a fruit this small and seemingly harmless can cause so much inner disruption, what about those tiny, sweet fruits that go down by the handful? Next up, grapes. Grapes are often seen as one of the safest fruits you can eat. They're small, bite-sized, and loaded with antioxidants. At least that's what we've always believed. For decades, grapes have been linked to heart health, longevity, and even beauty. They seem like the perfect no-guilt snack, especially for older adults trying to eat clean. But the truth is, these innocent-looking fruits may be causing more trouble for your legs and joints than you realize. Grapes are extremely high in fructose, a type of natural sugar that's processed differently from glucose. Instead of being used directly for energy, fructose is metabolized in the liver, where it's more likely to be converted into fat and uric acid. For seniors, this becomes a problem fast. Elevated uric acid levels are a leading cause of gout, a painful inflammatory condition that often strikes the feet, ankles, and knees. It doesn't take much. A small handful of grapes with breakfast, another in the afternoon, and before you know it, your joints are inflamed and your mobility is compromised. You may notice subtle signs at first: a dull ache in your big toe, swelling around the knee at night, or discomfort when walking or standing. These symptoms are often mistaken for normal aging or even overuse. But in many cases, they're triggered or worsened by what you're eating. Grapes, despite their innocent reputation, can act like tiny sugar bombs, quietly raising uric acid and inflammation with each handful. The problem is made worse by how easy they are to overeat. You rarely measure out a precise portion of grapes. You grab a few while cooking, another few while watching TV, and suddenly you've consumed a large amount of sugar without realizing it. And because they're soft and sweet, they don't feel heavy or indulgent. But your body keeps score. Your joints tell the story, especially at night when the inflammation settles in and makes rest difficult. So, while grapes might look harmless in a fruit bowl, they could be silently feeding the pain in your legs and feet. And if even grapes have this hidden downside, wait until you hear the truth about a fruit praised for fighting inflammation: pineapple. Pineapple is often hailed as a superfruit, especially among those looking for natural ways to fight inflammation and support digestion. Much of this praise centers around bromelain, an enzyme found in pineapple that's been shown to help break down protein and reduce swelling. For seniors dealing with arthritis or stiffness, it sounds like the perfect ally. But as with many things in nutrition, the full story is more complicated than it appears. While bromelain has potential benefits, the rest of the pineapple tells a different tale. This tropical fruit is also incredibly high in natural sugars and citric acid, two things that can work against the aging body, especially when consumed regularly. For older adults with slower metabolism and greater sensitivity to blood sugar spikes, pineapple can quietly stir up inflammation rather than calm it. The citric acid may irritate already inflamed joints, while the sugar content can disrupt insulin balance and contribute to long-term systemic inflammation. The effects often appear in subtle ways. You might notice your ankles swell a bit after dinner, or that your knees feel stiff in the morning. Maybe you've spotted bruises forming more easily than they used to. These aren't random. Pineapple can thin the blood slightly, especially when combined with medications like blood thinners, leading to increased bruising and joint discomfort. And because the sweetness feels so refreshing, most people don't realize just how much they're eating until the inflammation starts speaking through their body. It's a difficult truth to accept. A fruit you thought was helping your joints might actually be keeping them inflamed. That pain in your hip, the ache in your knee, the soreness that doesn't seem to go away, could all be tied to a daily pineapple habit meant to heal. The disconnect between what we believe and what our body experiences is subtle but powerful. So the next time you slice into a golden, juicy pineapple, pause and ask yourself, is this fruit nourishing your joints or feeding the very inflammation you're trying to escape? Now that we've unmasked these 7 fruits, it's time to shift from avoidance to action. Let's explore the fruits that truly support strength, reduce inflammation, and help you walk with confidence again. After hearing about the 7 fruits that may be silently working against your legs, you might feel frustrated or even overwhelmed. But here's the good news. This isn't about giving up fruit. It's about choosing the right ones for your changing body. Aging doesn't require extreme dieting or fear-based restrictions. It simply asks us to listen more closely, to nourish ourselves with foods that work with us, not against us. Your body doesn't hate fruit, it just needs a better match. Thankfully, nature provides plenty of fruits that actually help reduce inflammation, protect circulation, and support muscle and joint health. These are the fruits that love your legs back, and they can easily become the foundation of a senior-friendly, healing diet. Let's start with berries, like blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries. These small but mighty fruits are packed with antioxidants and flavonoids that calm inflammation at the cellular level. They're also naturally low in sugar, making them gentle on blood sugar while supporting the tiny capillaries and blood vessels that keep your legs strong and oxygenated. Next up, cherries. Especially tart cherries have been shown to lower uric acid levels, making them ideal for anyone dealing with joint pain or gout. Even just a small serving a few times a week can significantly reduce flare-ups and improve joint mobility. Then there's avocado, technically a fruit, and a powerful one at that. Rich in heart-healthy, monounsaturated fats, avocado helps reduce internal inflammation without spiking blood sugar. It also provides potassium and magnesium, both vital for maintaining muscle strength and preventing cramps. Papaya is another gentle healer. Its enzyme, papain, aids digestion and may ease muscle soreness. It's soft, soothing, and ideal for older adults who may struggle with harder or more acidic fruits. Plus, its anti-inflammatory properties can help calm tender joints and tired legs. Finally, pears, mildly sweet, high in fiber, and easy on the gut. When paired with a little protein or healthy fat, pears offer lasting energy without a sugar crash. They're especially helpful for those with blood sugar concerns, providing comfort without chaos. With the right fruits in your corner, you are not just feeding your body. You're fueling your freedom, one bite at a time. If you've made it this far, I want to thank you for your time, your curiosity, and your willingness to learn. I know that changing habits, especially at this stage of life, isn't easy. We build routines over decades, and the foods we eat often carry memories, comfort, and even identity. But the truth is, you don't need to change everything overnight. In fact, you don't need a dramatic overhaul at all. Sometimes, the most powerful transformation begins with a single, thoughtful decision. And that decision could be as simple as choosing a different fruit tomorrow. Swapping out one item on your plate might not seem like much, but over time, that small change can be the difference between legs that feel tired and stiff, and legs that carry you confidently through your day, between joints that ache after a walk and joints that support you as you climb the stairs with ease, between feeling limited by your body and feeling free in it again. You see, food is more than fuel, it's communication. Every bite sends a message to your body. And when you begin to feed your body with intention, especially fruits that heal rather than harm, you send a powerful message of care, respect, and resilience. So, if this video taught you something new today, something you can apply or even just think about, I'd love to know. Type 1 in the comments so I know you're here, listening, and ready to move forward. If you didn't find it helpful, that's okay too. Type 2 and let me know how I can serve you better next time. Your voice matters, and this space is for you. You deserve strong legs, steady steps, and pain-free mornings. And you deserve to enjoy the years ahead, not just by adding time, but by adding quality to that time. It all begins with awareness, and it continues with you. One choice, one meal, one day at a time.